Joining me today is Brooklyn Rudolph, and you are the granddaughter of a couple residential school survivors. So, with September 30th being National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, we love to chat about that and kind of hear a little bit about your story. So, I think a good place to start is you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how art became a passion and really a career for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Brooklyn. I'm an Indigenous artist here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I started creating art at a very young age. I've always been, a creative person, wanting to give back and help other people. And, as I got older, I was introduced to creating Indigenous art when I was 17. And it was a way for me to, learn more about my culture and really give back. And as I got older, I was like, I really want to find ways to help support people, especially on their healing journeys. And I want to make that positive impact on people's lives. So, I always was finding ways to give back, from gifting my art to shelters for, people going through some really challenging times. And last year, I actually found an art submission call out. They were looking for an artist to design the orange shirts for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation this year. And I submitted my art last year, and I was so grateful that I was the selected artist across the country. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing opportunity. And, you can now find my shirts here that I designed across Canada in Walmart. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really big accomplishment. Congratulations. And, yeah, you're
Thank you.
modeling it right there for us, so we get to see it up close and personal. Maybe I'd love if you could kind of dive into it a little bit more. Like, when you found out that yours was chosen, this was going to be the design this year. Like, what was going through your head?
So, as a granddaughter of two residential school survivors, I know that my grandparents, they had a very challenging upbringing, and I really wanted to honor my grandparents and, the children who unfortunately went to these schools. And I wanted to, bring positivity out of this and find ways to give back to others. So whenever I seen this submission call it, I was like, this is an opportunity for me to, really use my creativity to help support people. And whenever I found out that it was in collaboration with Walmart Canada, I was super excited. It was like a shock to me because, Walmart is like, it's everywhere, right? I remember growing up shopping there with my family and just having this opportunity and this, visibility for not only my art and my family story, but it's visibility to support so many people who've experienced, the impacts of residential schools. So it was a wonderful, amazing opportunity that I am extremely grateful for. And I know that my family is so proud, and many people across, the country have reached out to me, and they're like, the work that you're doing is so amazing and so beautiful, and it just, really inspires me to want to keep going.
And can you maybe share a little bit about the inspiration behind the shirt, kind of the
Mhm.
design, how you chose and how you made it in the first place?
Yeah, so if you look on the shirt, there are two children holding hands. I wanted to represent, togetherness, the resilience, and I also wanted to include this star right here in the middle. It's called Kiwatin in my Cree language. It is known as the Going Home Star, guiding the children home. And I also wanted to include an eagle that represents love in the seven teachings. And that was one thing my grandpa always taught my family, was to share love. So I wanted to pass down those traditional teachings in my creations.
And I'd love to find out, like, what was your family and your friends' reaction when you told them that this was the one that was chosen and kind of that they're the inspiration behind it? Like, what
Mhm.
was that like?
So I was really happy to share with my family, and I said, we can't say anything because it's still a secret right now. So I had to kind of keep it like a secret throughout much of the year this year. But I was so happy to share with them, and they were so proud. And, all I want to do is just like uplift and inspire other people, especially, my family as well. So they were so proud of me. And both of my grandparents, they passed away. So unfortunately, they couldn't see this opportunity. But, I know that they would be really proud of me.
And what does it mean for you to have just this opportunity in the first place, bringing awareness to something that's so important to you and so many people?
It means so much because this is an opportunity to support the healing of those impacted by residential schools. It's an opportunity to support people like my family and so many families and survivors who've been impacted by residential schools across the country. So this means so much. And, even using my creations that I created inspired by like my family and those impacted, it feels beautiful. It feels very beautiful.
Yeah. And not only are you kind of creating this awareness, but the profits for the shirts are going to go towards educating more people and just helping residential school survivors. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so 100% of the profits from each shirt sold go directly to supporting Indigenous charities like the Orange Shirt Society and the Residential School Survivors Society across the country. So I'm really proud of that because they directly support Indigenous families and survivors, and it supports the healing as well as bringing visibility to the residential school survivors, and it brings truth and reconciliation, and I think that's very important on our steps towards healing.
And maybe, yeah, can you touch on that a little bit? Like, just how would you say is the best way for other people to learn to educate about Truth and Reconciliation Day? Kind of what this all means as a community.
As a community, I think it's very important to learn about our past and what has happened to Indigenous peoples, and this is the land that my family has come from. And I think it's important to remember the strength and the resilience that Indigenous people hold on this land, and, to move forward together in reconciliation. I think it's really important to learn about the past and listen to, the truths of survivors and stand with us as well. I think it's very beautiful to, build those meaningful relationships so we all can move forward towards truth and reconciliation.
And let's say someone watching or listening to this right now, they want to kind of follow along with you, your art journey, any other creations that you're going to be making in the future, or more about this design. Where's the best place for them to get that information?
You can follow my Instagram art page. It's Brooklyn Rudolph Art. I love to support many different, charities on my art page, and, just get creative and, post as much as I can to have opportunities for others to apply for wonderful things like these as well. So I'll be sharing that on my art page as well. And if you're interested and you're in Winnipeg, I really encourage you to come to the Healing Walk with SCO this September 30th. It starts at the Forks at 11 a.m. And it's a wonderful opportunity to really be with community and listen and stand with survivors and those impacted.
Perfect. Well, Brooklyn, thank you for taking time to chat with me today, share a little bit about your heart and the design and just everything that inspired it. Thank you for taking time to chat with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.